Hello, everyone. Welcome to I'm getting ready to call it another show, the Flowering Fashionista. I do so many different podcasts. I started to say to the greatest blueprint, which I usually do on Tuesday nights. But this is the Flowering Fashionista. I am super excited to have my guest today, Christal Jonas Clarke. Christal, how are you doing?
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much again for having me. It's a pleasure to be part of this broadcast. I listened to a few of your previous ones and they were really informative. So thank you for having me. I feel
Good.
honored.
Good. I am glad. All right. So if you are new to any of my shows, if you're not new, you already know what I'm about to say. But if you are new, you want to make sure you get yourself a pen and some paper so you can take some notes because my guests come on and they are always sharing such valuable information. And people are like, oh, wait a minute. Now, of course, you can always run the replay back and then there's also going to be some things that you hear that you say, oh, this would be great for somebody else. Please be sure to share this podcast and broadcast with someone else. And as always, be sure to click and subscribe, like and subscribe. All right. So, Christal, you and I had a chance to talk a few years ago, and I got to learn a little bit about your journey
Yeah.
then. But we have some new audience members since that time. So let's just give people a little background. Now, Crystal and I met because you and my husband are from the same homeland of St. Lucia.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yes.
So tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, like you said, I am from the beautiful Caribbean island of St. Lucia. I grew up there with my family. Fashion, um, fashion came to me from I was a little kid. It wasn't like on my schedule to say, I could say, oh, when I want to grow up, I want to be a designer. It wasn't that for me, but it was always part, of my upbringing. And
Hmm.
the age, I was involved in a lot of, pageantry and dance and model. And so the creative aspect, was always part of me growing up.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Back home, I also growing up, I was also part of a modeling agency. It was
Hmm.
called the Imani Models. We took
Hmm.
part in pageantry and fashion shows around the island. Portraying different costumes, and most of the time we actually created our clothes ourselves.
Oh, wow.
We used either newspaper or garbage bags, flowers. So it was always, a creative process for me and for us. So I love that aspect of it.
Hmm.
I think that's where I get my creative passion from growing up. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
When I moved to the US, um, I actually wanted to be a psychologist. So when I saw you were a doctor in psychology, I'm like, I have to pick a brain about, how do I get into how do I get into, fulfilling my dreams? Because
Yes.
that's always my number one priority. Always wanted to be a psychology. So when I moved to the US, that was what I really wanted to do,
Hmm.
psychology. I applied to different schools to get in. But unfortunately, back home, the schooling and schools here is different. So I had to,
Hmm.
do a whole different process, do some more classes because they didn't accept our credits back home. So
Yeah.
it was a whole process for me. I think I'm stuck.
You're back.
I'm back. Okay.
Yes.
I'm back. Okay. Okay.
Yes. Yes. You're good.
Okay.
Go ahead. So you were saying when you came to the US, it was a totally different process.
Yeah. So yes. When I came to the US, I really wanted to do psychology. I applied to a few schools. It was it was a long process because they wasn't accepting my credits from back home. I had
Mm-hmm.
already graduated high school and college. So I had to do a few more courses to try
Mm-hmm.
and get accepted. So it was really draining for me. So at the time, um, I got an invitation to attend one of the fashion school in New York. It was just like a to see a show, and then I didn't know there were fashion schools available, in New York. So it was really eye opening for me. It was amazing. So from then I decided to research different schools to see, what different schools offer best for me. And I fell in love with Fashion Institute of Technology.
Yes.
And one of the main reasons is that they offer various academic courses. So I got to do fashion design as my major, and I got to do psychology as a minor. So I got to infuse both of my passions together. So
that's it. Excellent.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, so I decided to apply to FIT, and I had to present a portfolio. And in the portfolio, it had to include some of my work, some of my sketches, and some stuff I have. But I have never touched a sewing machine before. I had no idea how to draw. I couldn't draw a circle, so I didn't know how to draw, a dress or anything. So I'm like, okay. So I had to. They actually offered it's called continuous courses. I think it's like a 4 to 6 weeks. So I applied to the courses. I learned the basics of sewing and and sketching and all of that. And then I learned. I decided to create my portfolio and apply to the school. Unfortunately, I was denied. I was not accepted. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's not for me. Maybe I should, pursue my number one dream of psychology. So I actually did get into another school. I got into Medgar Evers. I did 1 semester there trying to study psychology, but then I felt like I needed to do more. I needed to use my creative skills. So I'm like, I'm gonna try one more time.
Okay.
I put my all in. I created a whole new portfolio. I did everything from scratch. I put all into it. I try to make it as presentable as possible, and I was accepted the following semester.
Come on now, you're getting another one. See, look at that.
Fashion design. And from there, it's just been amazing from there. So I'm glad I didn't give up. Even every time they say no, you always keep pushing forward. So I'm glad I didn't give up, and I keep trying. So
there's so much. There's so much that you mentioned that I just want to go back and underscore and highlight for people. Number one, the early life in pageantry. And we talk about how, right, seeds are planted very early on, and how the creativity piece was planted in you as well. As you were saying, we had to learn how to make things out of what we had and then present them in a fashionable way. Can you think of an outfit that you created that you were like, and let me say this, there's times when I work with students, young students, like 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, and one of the activities that I used to have them do was a fashion show, and the only thing they were allowed to use was toilet paper. So you can imagine the designs that came up with, and that would always be like one of their most favorite activities. And sometimes we would do it a gender, it would be boys against girls, sometimes it would be grade against grade, and they would come up with some of the most elaborate designs off of a 4-pack of toilet paper, and it would be so funny. And then they'd have to walk the runway without tearing their design. So can you think of any design that you did with a material that you were surprised that this really works?
Yes. So I think using raw materials, like stuff you would never imagine somebody would wear, just brings out more creativity, I believe, for anybody, young or old. So I've used everything from hair extension, braids. It came out so beautiful. I use like weaves, the ones you sew on to create a beautiful skirt, and then a bra piece. I've used newspaper, created pleats in them. Garbage bags. You would never imagine that was a garbage bag when I was tape and staple machine, stapling everything together, make sure they stay on.
Wow.
And having to walk down a runway with it just feels amazing, having to feel like, oh, I made this myself with my own two hands. So it has always been an amazing feeling, just playing around with different objects. You never imagine somebody put on.
That's incredible. And I can only imagine by using raw materials, as you're saying, and being innovative with them and really allowing your imagination to even grow, how much that has now impacted you in the work that you do today. Uh-oh, we have a little bit of a delay there. That's all right.
Yes, definitely. I try to be as different as I possibly can because
Go ahead, we can hear you. Now? Yes, you're back.
Okay, I thought I was okay. Yes, it has helped me a lot in my business today, because one of the reasons I decided to actually become a designer is to try and be different. I believe like if I could make stuff the way I wanted, I could get everything I wanted in a store. So I don't make it myself, to stand out. So I go into a store, I see a shirt. The sleeves might be beautiful. I might not like how the looks, or I might like, the hem of something, but I might not like something else. So I'm like, why not pick and choose one aspect of life from, different pieces and put them together and make one, a unique piece. So that's what I try to do in my designs. Make everybody feel unique and comfortable in their own skin at the same time. So when you walk down the street, there everybody be wanting something you have. So I believe, having that element, from creating stuff from everyday life really helped me in trying to bring out that in my designs today.
How do you?
I call it this dysfunctional fashion.
Oh, okay. That's a whole line in itself. Oh my goodness. So now tell us this. What type of experiences has fashion allowed you to have? You talked about the pageantry when you were younger, but since graduating from FIT and so forth, what type of fashion experiences have you had? Oh, we have a little bit of a technology glitch. Christal, if you want to log off and come back on, maybe you'll get a better connection. Okay, she just logged off and hopefully she'll join us. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We'll get to as many as we can. We apologize, but we know technology does what technology does. And so hopefully she'll be able to rejoin us. Up here, she's coming now. Let's see. All right. Oh, that's much better.
Yeah, I just use my phone instead.
Okay. All right, fantastic. So my question to you was, here fashion has led you into pageantry. It's led you into modeling. What other types of things has fashion led you into?
I've done a lot of fashion shows throughout the years.
Hmm.
The first one I was invited to was New York Fashion Week. That was in 2019. It was an
Mm,
amazing experience for the first time.
do
Having to
tell.
showcase. Yes, it's a different feeling having to showcase, in to new eyes, a new community. So it was a really great feeling to have that feedback from people who have never heard of me
Hmm.
before and seen me before. So it felt like I was really doing something, for a cause and really, I guess, doing it the right way, I would say. So I did New York Fashion Week, I did Paris Fashion Week as well, and also Milan Fashion Week.
Hmm.
So I have
Oh.
traveled around. Yes, traveled around trying to get Shontell on the map per se. Because I really
Hmm.
wanted to be an international brand.
Yes.
So yeah, so I am very grateful for those opportunities and being able to showcase to, different parts of the world.
All right. So we're gonna pull. Deirdre says congratulations to you.
Thank you.
We're gonna unpeel some of that. So the whole idea when I created the Flowering Fashionista, and initially I was thinking, I was like, oh, it's the budding fashionista, and then I was like, budding makes me think small, and then I like alliteration, so I was like, all right, the Flowering Fashionista makes me think unfolding, right? And so even like a rose, when a rose is formed together, it's beautiful, and then as it begins to flower, it's still a rose, but yet it looks different and it's beautiful in its own right. And then
Right.
even as it falls apart, the petals are still beautiful in their own. And so I was like, I like the Flowering Fashionista because over time, I know for myself, fashion has changed
Right.
depending on what I'm doing. So I have my Dr. Wall's uniform. I have my cat if I'm going to work out outfit. I have my,
Right.
so it's constantly unfolding what's happening. So here you are, someone who got introduced to fashion very early on. And when I
Yeah.
think about St. Lucia, I think of the Madras. So would
Yeah.
you tell people what that is?
Yes, the madras is our cultural fabric. I would say it looks like a plaid, but it has rich colors like reds and greens and yellows. Um, I
Mhm.
actually, I think when I was 5, I was a member of a quadrille group. Um, and we dressed up in the madras and the Creole wear. We call it the Creole wear. And yeah, we dressed up in the different costumes and we did different dances on stage and for
Mhm.
plays and different schools. And I was 5, so getting to dress up in those elaborate way and having to it was just fun, dressing up. So yeah,
Mhm.
and the madras
Mhm.
fabric, I try to incorporate it in some of my pieces as much as I can,
Mhm.
especially when I get to do shows, abroad, so people can have a taste and sense of, the St. Lucia culture and
Yes.
what we offer. Yeah, so I
Yes.
try to do it as much as I can. Also, the colors of the flag, the blue, yellow, black,
Mhm.
and white, I try to
Mhm.
incorporate it as much as I can in some of my designs as well because we can never forget where we come from. That's what brought me
Yes.
here. That's how where I learned
I've definitely noticed
basically.
that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuck. I don't know what's
True.
wrong.
Uh-oh. Now we're having internet problems. My goodness.
What's going on today?
I don't know. We had some internet problems yesterday, but now they just coming at us. That's all right. We can always come back and do another show if it gets too bad. All right.
Yes,
So
definitely.
So now let's do some teaching here. So you were a part of New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week.
Mm-hmm.
What does Fashion Week mean? What does it mean to be chosen as a designer? How do you even get to showcase your work? How does this work?
Well, Milan Fashion Week on the whole, it's different designers from different genres, different, um, just different diverse groups of people coming together to showcase their passion and their talents, and for fashion. So, a lot of the process is you usually get an invitation. If you want to partake or not, it's up to you.
Mhm.
There's either 10 to 20 looks or 10 to 15, 20, 30, 10 to 30 looks. It all depends on what you can afford to present. And you
Mhm.
create what you want to showcase, however you want to present your brand to
Mhm.
to different people. So it's really fun. You get to meet new designers, you get to learn different skills. You get to see, how people think, how people work. Because although we're all designers, we all think differently, we all work differently, we all have different um techniques of how we do stuff. So it's a great learning experience, a great way
Mhm.
um to network as well, because down the line you might never know if you might need, help with something, or you might
Mhm.
reach out to somebody, or somebody might reach out to you, to collaborate or do different stuff together. So it's a great little community of designers just coming together and showcasing their work to,
Mhm.
to people. So it's very
Mhm.
fun, I would say.
Now, how do you so now you were saying they solicit you to participate or do you send an interest in participating?
They most often they do reach out to you. They send um an invitation, yeah. They send out an
Mhm.
invitation. Some other brands, you have to apply, but most
Mhm.
often I'm usually invited to take part. So it's up to me if I want to decide to do it or not.
Okay.
But
So
it's
so
it's
now
it's different.
let's take this moment that you, darling, have been solicited to participate in three of the most highest known fashion spaces in the world. How
Hmm.
does a young lady from St. Lucia get solicited by New York, Paris, and Milan?
Well, I have to put most of the credit on another fellow designer. His name
Uh-huh.
is Marshall. His brand is Never Give Up Clothing. He's also a Saint Lucia designer. So
Okay.
he's the one who helped connect the dots to help me get in. So he's the one who he I think he applied to be in the because he started with New York Fashion. He was applied to be in New York Fashion Show, and
Mhm.
he said asked me to come join him into the
Mm.
show.
Okay.
So yeah, and for Paris Fashion Week, I made some connections there, and then I got the connection to do Milan from meeting people from Paris. So
Look at
it's
that.
it's like a step. Like it's like I said, going to this stuff, you make connections, you meet people, and down the line they invite you back, or you meet somebody there who will invite you to do something even bigger. So
Yes.
I try to not always say no because you never know what opportunities might arise from that. Um,
Mhm.
but I have been blessed to get the opportunities that I have, and I'm very, very
Yeah.
thankful for them.
Yeah. I am thankful too. I was always amazed as we were going on Facebook and then it would be like, she's here in Paris and she's here. And it was like, look at her go. Look at her designs just traveling all over the world. It's amazing. It's exciting for
Hmm.
Edmund and I to watch you go and grow and impact the world in such a way and for you to be modeling and wearing your stuff, which I would describe as sexy. Now, how do you describe?
I don't. I think so. I don't know. Oh my God. Yeah.
How do you describe your wear? Because it is not athletic wear in any way, shape, or form.
No, it is not. Not at all. Yeah, sexy is a good word. I would say sexy.
Hmm.
Uh, hot couture. How it's called? Hot
Hmm.
couture.
Very
Yeah,
hot. Very, very,
yeah.
very. Look, look, look. Very hot. Very hot.
Hot couture. Yeah, but I have fun created pieces, and most often I let the fabric talk to me. So for
Mm.
myself, when I try to design something, I go fabric shopping. If I see something I like, then I decide from there what designs I could create with
Hmm.
it, to present,
Hmm.
the how beautiful the fabric is. So that's most
Hmm.
often how I design for myself. So I don't
Okay.
like, oh, this and that. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you said that because, a lot of times when we're talking with designers, their creative process. And so, are you someone who likes to shop for fabric? You talked about when you look at the fabric, is there an image that automatically comes
Yeah.
to mind with that? Okay, go ahead. Talk us
Yes,
through your process.
definitely. Yes. Um, well, I have different processes. For instance, I do custom design. So if somebody comes
Okay.
to me, yeah, and they describe something they want to get done, I sketch it out however they describe it, and
Mhm.
when they approve of the sketch, we decide, color, different fabric options, different trimmings, and then I go out to source, the best option for that
Mhm.
sketch. Um,
Mhm.
so that's one way that I do it. Um, the other way is, especially when I'm designing something for myself personally, I would just go different fabric stores. I love just looking at the fabrics, touching them, how they feel on my skin. So most often I would do
Mhm.
that. And when I see something that captures my eyes, like it's like a instant connection, instant, I fall in love
Mhm.
instantly. So I get I get it, and then it decides on its own what it wants to be produced into, if that makes sense. So that's how it
Uh-huh.
works for me.
Uh-huh.
That's how my creative mind works. So I could look at some fabric, and for instance, um if the client gives me something they want done, I could look at the fabric and imagine what it would look like in that specific fabric and decide if it's going to work or not before actually buying the fabric.
Mhm.
So that's one
Mhm.
skill I've learned throughout the ages of how to determine what would be best, and what works and what
Okay.
doesn't, just like visualizing it in my mind, and
Mhm.
that really helps with the process as well.
Good. Are there certain materials that you like to work with better than others?
I like lace a lot. I like to
Mm.
work with lace and
Mhm.
diamond studded fabrics, with the
Mhm.
bright colors. I like anything colorful. I love colors. I like mixing colors together. Yeah,
Mhm.
but I like working with any fabrics. I hate tulle. I would say my least favorite is working with tulle, but I like
Okay.
everything else. Yeah. I
And
would
what
just
is it
hate my
about
least
tulle?
favorite. It is
What
just very delicate. It's too, I wouldn't say that, it's like too much going on at once. If
Mhm.
that makes sense. Yeah. If I had a bigger machine, I just have to know the regular at-home machine. But if I had, an industrial machine, I think it might work better. But it's just a lot of work
Mhm.
to work with. It's very hard to work with. So
Okay. Okay. Now people are asking for website, uh, social media handles. Where do you want people to go to check out your work? And how do you want people to contact you if they want to get something made?
I am rebranding my business. We will
Okay.
be relaunching sometime next year. But in the
Mm-hmm.
meantime, I am available on social media. My Facebook and Instagram is House of Shontell.
Mm-hmm.
My website is still, I'm still redesigning it, but it is still available to the public. So it's www.houseofshontell.com. So you could see
Mm-hmm.
some of my work on there as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it's just Facebook, Instagram, and my website for now.
Okay.
Um,
And why don't you tell the people why Chantel? What's House of Chantel? Because they see your name as Christal. So where did that come from?
Chantel is my middle name, so it is actually my government name. So yeah, I don't know how it came about. It always felt and looked different, a different name. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, why don't I keep it personal? Because it's always been personal to me. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
decided to use Chantel. This is
Okay.
my name.
There we go. Y'all got it. All right. So I'm going to pull up your website so we can take a look at some of your work here. And I will scroll. Do you can you see? I know you're on your phone. Are you able to see the
I could
pieces
see,
okay?
yes.
Okay. All right. So let's talk. I'm in your collection section. So let's talk about some of these pieces here. What are they looking at?
So the first photo, this was part of my collection in Milan, Milan Fashion Week.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all about florals and pleatings and I did a lot of, because at the time, um, corsets was really popular at the time.
Ah,
So I
okay.
incorporated a lot of corsetry in there as well.
Mm-hmm. See, the flowering fashionista was on point. Look at that.
Yes. I love colors, so
And
anything
what do we have
colorful.
going on here with denim? Are these purses?
Yes. I am also a huge advocate of going green
Now, are these
and being
purses here with the denim?
sustainable. Yes, they are. They're actually recycled denim that I created
Mm-hmm.
into purses. It wasn't a program I
Wow.
started on. Yeah, different ways to be sustainable.
Beautiful. All right. I see your St. Lucian mask there. Did you make that
Yeah,
yourself?
I did, yes.
All right. We're definitely seeing the color here.
Yes. I do bags.
They are sharp.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. And what is up with this coat here? This like coat vest. What do we call a duster?
It's a duster. It's reversible. I did it
Okay.
for a project a long time ago. Um,
Mm-hmm.
those are from another fashion show I did back home in St. Lucia. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was for jazz. It was a
Okay.
jazz show. So I just incorporated a lot of pieces I already had and put them together.
Beautiful. And as you know, we were talking about the madras
A
earlier.
dress,
For people
yes,
who don't know, that's what this patterning is here in the center photo.
yes.
Gorgeous.
Thank
That's such a
you.
vibrant blue.
I love
Okay.
it.
Hmm.
I also do
Oh no.
bridal.
Okay. Do tell.
Yes, I do bridal. I do men's as well. I've done a few suits for men. Um,
Hmm.
and these are maternity
Oh,
shirts.
how beautiful.
I do prom as well. So I try to dip into every little aspect of
Hmm.
designing. Those are prom
Okay.
dresses.
That's a heck of a train. Oh, right. These are beautiful. So people are really getting a taste. Uh-oh, who is this vixen over here? And this
That's me. We do kids as well, so nobody's left behind.
That's right. That's right. I love this pink. This reminds me of like a flamenco dancer with a little
I
flare at the
know.
bottom.
My inspiration was actually a rose, so it shapes
Mm.
like the
Yeah.
back is shaped like a petal.
Okay.
Yes.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. So people are now saying, now I'm gonna put it up on the screen, Deirdre, so she can see it. Deirdre said, absolutely stunning work.
Thank you.
So now, so what do we have next on the horizon for you? What's coming up?
Coming up, I am in the process of rebranding. I mentioned earlier. I
Mm-hmm.
am I do custom. I've mostly concentrated on doing custom designs for
Mm-hmm.
clients, but now I want to branch out and provide ready-to-wear collection. So I am working on having seasonal
Oh.
collections. So spring, summer, fall, winter. So it will be
Mm-hmm.
readily available on my website. So anybody could get it when
Mm-hmm.
it's available. Also, it's a lot of work. I'm the only one in the business, so I have to do everything myself, from the design to fabric
Mm-hmm.
to sewing and everything. So in order for that part of the aspect of the brand to work, I need a team. So I'm also working on building a team and having some of the process being outsourced. Like have get a factory to have some of the stuff done to build the business and make
Mm-hmm.
it more consistent. So that's basically what I'm
Mm-hmm.
working on right now. So when I do relaunch the business,
Okay.
everything will be available and on the right path. So I'm really, really
Okay.
excited for that.
Now, would you ever want, do you, well, let me ask it this way. Do you prefer to sell from your own like storefront business, so forth, or would you like to be in a retail store as well? Would you like your products to be picked up that way?
I have always dreamed of having my own store.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I wanted to be back home in St. Lucia.
Mm-hmm.
But and here I could have it in the storefront or online, because majority of people shop online. People don't like to go into stores anymore,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. So
Mm-hmm.
it might not be as profitable or efficient as I would want it to be. But
Mm-hmm.
I am open to, the different options, and I will see which one would be more which one will be the right path to take. But I am
Yeah.
open to all of them. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, do you still, as a designer, when you're choosing your pieces as well as choosing people to represent your pieces,
Mhm.
what is that process like?
I like to I like a diverse group of individuals, because
Mhm,
um not everything looks the same on everybody, if that makes
mhm.
sense. So
Big time.
yes, so
Mhm.
a certain
Take yoga pants. Yoga
yeah,
pants look different on it.
right.
That infamous, what is it, that bodysuit on TikTok now that's going viral, right?
Yes.
Everybody look different wearing that
Right,
thing.
right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so like the same way I visualize what a design will look in a fabric, I try to do the same with the piece I've created, how it will look on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to do that as well. Because we have different sizes, we have different shapes, different heights, different proportions.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I I think of all of this when I choose or who is gonna fit into whatever I create. So I'm
Yeah,
very picky with that as well.
yeah. I had the opportunity to interview a designer who does a lot of Muslim wear. And
Hmm.
so she presented for the first time during Philly Fashion Week this
Mhm.
year.
Oh, I saw
And
that.
okay, yes. And
Yeah.
so I don't know if you remember the part where she talked about there was one young lady, I think she said she might have been 6'6",
Mm-hmm.
and she had created this one out and she was like it fit her perfectly,
But
and so that always makes me think when designers are creating things. And as you know, I've had some people who have been a part of Gwen DeVoe, who started the Full Figured Fashion Week in New York.
mm-hmm.
Just the clothing that's made for each person and with a designer. And a lot of your work is very curvy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And as people are looking at your pages, they probably saying, mm-hmm. So,
Um, but
so
but if I could design for you, if you don't want it curvy, I could design it how you want it. So
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
when I have clients come to me and they show me a specific design or they tell me something they want, if I see or I know it's not gonna look the way they want it, I let them know and I give them different options, different ideas of how they could tweak it and make it into their own and make it look presentable on them. Because not
Mm-hmm,
everything looks, like I said, not everything looks as good on everybody. Um,
mm-hmm.
so yeah, I try to encourage them to go down the path, that's best for them.
Yes, yes. And you know what? And I think that's so important because a lot of times, right, we see clothes and we see something on somebody else that
Hmm.
we like, but our body is not built the same,
Not, yes.
right? And then we go to put it on and it's like it's not giving the same.
Or you see somebody writing a review. It's not what it look like. You show me something on your website and it doesn't look the same on me, but it's like it's not my fault.
Right. It wasn't created for you or
Or
for
you,
the body type.
exactly.
And so what do you recommend? How do I ask this clearly? How do people get a better understanding of their body type and body shape? What are some recommendations that you have for them?
Um, I would say wear stuff you feel comfortable in.
Mhm.
Um, because a lot of time people try to force stuff onto them because everybody else is doing it and they want to
Mhm.
be part of the norm. But if it
Mhm.
doesn't feel good for you, if it doesn't make you confident, then it's not for you. So
Mhm.
whatever makes you feel confident and comfortable in your skin and you won't have to be looking around as if everybody's looking at you, then it's not for you. So
Mhm.
just whatever feels comfortable, I would say.
I think that is important too. Now let's talk about trending stuff. How do people know what's trending and how does one find out?
I would say social media is the perfect place to go for what's trending.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, um, because that's where everybody posts everything on social
Mhm.
media. I am not really a trendy person. I try to, you know, stick away from the crowd, but a lot of
Mhm.
people, that's what they like. So if somebody comes to me and asks me for advice on something, or if I don't know, then I send them to social media, TikTok or Instagram, and just type in whatever you're looking for, and then it's not a lot of stuff is just gonna pop up, and you
Mhm.
can get ideas from there. Um,
Mhm.
so social media, I would say, unfortunately.
But you know what? Your answer goes back to what you said very early on. You said make everyone feel unique and comfortable in your own skin. And
Hmm.
that's what you like for people. So when you
Yes.
think about this word fashion, how would you define it to someone? What is fashion?
Fashion, I would say, is a lifestyle.
Mhm.
Um, because a lot of things change over time, unfortunately. A lot of things change, but some things stick. Because a
Mhm.
lot of stuff right now, people years ago would not be caught dead wearing, but they're wearing it now because it keeps coming back. So I would definitely say fashion is a lifestyle. Fashion is expressing, your personality, expressing who
Mhm.
you are. And because I could walk down the road and look at somebody by the way they dress and tell a lot about them. You know, I think that's one of the main reasons like I'm so drawn into psychology, because I could just study people just by looking at them. You know, feeling the energy, the way they move, and you know, the way they carry themselves. So I think fashion has a lot to do with that as well. You know, just presenting yourself without having to say anything at all. So yeah, fashion is a very big part of our everyday lives.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. How have you been blending your psychology and your fashion and your designing together? Yeah.
Um, I would say it keeps me sane. I am always my happiest when I'm in this little room of mine. When I'm in here, it's like I'm in a whole new world. It
Mm-hmm.
keeps me sane, it keeps me level, it keeps me humble. So
Mm.
um and and I love the most important, the best part feeling for me is seeing the smile on my client's face
Mm-hmm.
when they in one of my designs. It's like the best feeling ever. It brings me so much joy. So I try to put
Mm-hmm.
my heart and soul into creating, you know, the beautiful pieces for them. And I think psychology, what's the word I'm trying to say?
Psychology, psychologically.
Yes, right, psychologically, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's what I try and do, to just put my all in it, and just to
Mm-hmm.
give them the satisfaction
Mm-hmm.
of looking the best.
Yeah. I love how you knew very early on it was the blend of both. You know, how
Hmm.
it's like you tried to go one way, but the other came with it. Then you tried to go the other
Yes,
way and it came with it. And then
yeah.
you're like, okay, let me just marry these two together. And that
Hmm.
worked out for you.
Yes.
And I think that's important for people to recognize when you recognize that one, something's not leaving your life, right? That's like so many times your passion tapping you, like, hey, I'm here.
Mhm.
I'm your purpose. I'm right here. Uh, all right. Pageantry, Miss Universe was on a couple weeks ago.
Yes,
And there
it
was
was.
the young lady from St. Lucia was
Yes.
there. Now, do you still have any connection with pageantry at all?
I actually do, yes. I did a show, I think it was July for Carnival
Mm-hmm.
in St. Lucia, and I had the every year there's a Carnival Queen pageant
Mm-hmm.
back home. So I worked with all of the contestants. They actually wore my designs for that
Oh,
show. Yeah, so I
girl, you better come on. Y'all, she's sitting up here all humble and modest. And oh, yes, and they wore my designs. Yes, congratulations.
thank you, thank you. So yeah, I have worked with a few ladies in pageantry. So yeah, and
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to working with more people down the line.
Good, good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna circle back, and we kind of talked about this before, but I want to know from the designer standpoint, what is that like for you to see your work displayed to the world? What is that experience like?
It is, there's a saying like we are our biggest critics,
Yes.
and so when I am designing the pieces, I'm always like, is it gonna work? It doesn't, is it gonna, be presented the way I want it to be presented? Because
Mhm.
whenever I design stuff, there's always a meaning behind it.
Mhm.
So I'm always worried as to whether people will understand the meaning, or whether it will be digested the way that I want it to, without having to say anything.
Mhm.
But when it is portrayed on the runway, the reactions I get is always unbelievable. It's always like it's like, are you sure you're clapping for me, or are you sure it actually made you feel that way? So it's always an amazing feeling. It's always it always grounds me, to
Mhm.
see the reactions that I actually want from the designs, to actually get it
Mhm.
from people, especially
Mhm.
people who have never heard of the brand before, who have never seen anything before. So it
Mhm.
is always, heartwarming to see that, yes,
Yeah.
the message was received,
Mhm.
and I'm very, very happy when it happens.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a true gift and a true talent because to your
Mhm.
point, right, your design is a form of communication and it
Yes.
is a message that does not have any verbal language attached to it. And
Right.
so for someone to receive the exact communication in a nonverbal way, it's a tremendous talent to have and
Yes.
to be able to convey. So that's kudos to you for being able to convey that message because
Thank you.
that's a talent. That's a gift. Everybody can't do that,
Yes,
you know.
definitely. And unfortunately, some people don't see it, and that's okay. I guess it's not meant for everybody. So who it's meant
Hmm.
for, it is received. So that's
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And let's just even just talk about getting that what you see and hear, or for you when you touch and see that fabric, right? To
Mm-hmm.
get it from that raw state, then get it through your process here, and then to get it out with the sewing machine
Yes.
is
It's
amazing.
it is. It is. It's fun for me. It's a
Hmm.
fun process. I never feel like I'm actually working. I feel like I'm, just having fun doing a hobby.
Hmm.
But it's really fun, I would say. So it
That's
doesn't feel
cool.
like work. That's the main part. It doesn't feel like work, so it's not, depressing or draining. So I look forward to doing
Fantastic.
it. Yeah.
So what are your recommendations for people if they want to get into fashion design, if they want to get into modeling, if they want to get into pageantry, any or all the above? What are some recommendations you have for them?
You mean where they could go or like advice as to how?
Advice, both,
And
any and all.
I would say just be certain that it's something that you want to do, something you feel passionate about, because
Mhm,
um oftentimes when you go into something and it's not for you and you feel stuck, you don't present your full self, or you don't give 100% of yourself and what you can do. So just be certain that it's something that you really want to do,
mhm,
something you're passionate about. And if you cannot give 100%, then do something else, I would say.
mhm,
um
mhm,
it is a very fun industry, pageantry and designing and fashion. It takes you a long way. You meet a lot of people. You
mhm,
you learn a lot on the way, trust me. And so it is fun. So if you think it's what you want to do, then go for it.
mhm.
Just have faith. Keep, like I always do say, keep praying. Ask for guidance, and if it's meant for you, it will be. So
Yes.
just keep going.
Thank you. And I think you are a true testimony to that. Because for those who are just joining us, if you missed it early on, you got to hit the replay. But you'll hear how she started out. She didn't get accepted the first time into FIT, but it wouldn't leave you. And
No.
so, right? And then you studied, you learned, you practiced, and then you reapplied and you
Yes.
got accepted. And from that, my goodness, you have begun traveling the world and showcasing your pieces and sharing your talent, and you will continue to do so. So, we're super excited to know you and to continue
Thank
to
you.
watch you and vicariously live on this journey with you. So, thank you for allowing us to be a part of your life and sharing this,
Thank
this journey.
you.
You're welcome. Well,
Appreciate it.
people, you know how to get in contact with her. I put her information in the chat. I will also add it at the end. So when you go back and catch the replay, I'll make sure to put your links in the
Okay.
write up as
Oh,
well. Okay.
okay.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll
Thank
talk
you for
soon
having me.
offline.
Yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I will see you all next week. Because let's see, next Tuesday it will be time for the greatest blueprint. So if you don't subscribe, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel here at Ask Dr. Walls 525. During that first week of December, we'll have the greatest blueprint on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. And then we'll have Sisters for Harmony with jewelry and amulet designer Anna Fiora McPherson of Modern Relics, who does a lot of my jewelry that I wear. She hand makes it. It's incredible. I think I have another piece right here. Wait till you
wow.
see. Wait till you see this.
Wow. That's
And
beautiful.
that gorgeous? And she did that all by hand, all of it.
Wow.
Yeah. So she'll be joining us. I need to have her on the Flowering Fashionista too.
Yes,
But
you do.
yes. So she'll be on Sisters for Harmony next Thursday, but I'm gonna have her separately on because she's a whole nother. She likes curvy stuff too. So
Oh,
all right, y'all. I will see you next week. Christal, thank you again, and we'll talk
thank you.
soon.
All right,
All right.
bye-bye.
God bless everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.